I really can't even believe these charts, everybody. This is Bitcoin. I just want to right off the bat say we have a target to the upside, $50,000 range, target to the upside, $60,000 range. You go over to ADA. We have target to the upside, 70-cent range, target to the upside, 45-cent range. We have multiple bullish targets in play. I want to preface and underline the entire video by saying we do have those targets, and we're going to talk about all those targets. I just want to say, though, we might be at this time where it is time to rein in that shorter term excitement. And I want to explain that in this video. So hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let's jump into the Bitcoin TA, the Cardano TA, as we get this new week started. Crypto has been just in a really exciting time. If you just zoom out on a Bitcoin chart, this is the roadmap for crypto. We've done the pivot towards the next bull market. This is a pivot that has been done multiple times in cycles past. We are here. We survived this bear market. I'm incredibly bullish, especially if you've been watching my recent videos. I was bullish through the entire bear market, but now that we're making this pivot, I'm extremely bullish. But let's dive into the charts as we have this new week starting on the Bitcoin, the Cardano charts. There is definite reason to be cautious, especially this week, and I'm going to name a couple of reasons why that is. And let's just do it. So this is Bitcoin. Here are the targets to the upside. Let me just get this out of the way, and we'll touch on it a little bit. But we have these rising wedges that we've been talking about for a long time. I mean, this rising wedge goes back to November, and then this yellow upper trend line, which kind of integrates into the smaller wedge, this goes back to August, July 2022. Here's what's happened. We're testing a really key resistance area, and this is an area we were discussing 10 days ago. Check this out. For Bitcoin, it could happen at this friction area of resistance. We have, if say it's now, say we go a little bit higher, 36, 37, everybody's getting really bullish. Then we get this big drop. What I'd be anticipating is, so we got the move. We got the move to this yellow trend line. We got that swing high, the higher high. It happened. The reason why it's so important to track it is because as that's happening, we're getting the higher high on that chart, the price. What do we have happening in terms of momentum? It's fading, right? And this is a move that we saw back here earlier in the year in January. The lower highs happening on the momentum oscillator, the slower moving momentum oscillator, that is the RSI, while price is increasing, right? That's bearish divergence. And when this happens, oftentimes what happens, we get a little bit of a consolidation. So here it is happening back then, get a fall, right? A move back into the moving averages, the 20, the 50, there's a 200 down there. I didn't touch that, but that's what we're anticipating now. We're getting bearish divergence. If there's going to be consolidation, I'm going to paint the case in just a minute, actually, that Bitcoin keeps going or the consolidation is very small. I'm going to give you a couple of reasons how that might happen. But from a technical analysis perspective, this happens time and time again, and it would not be a bad thing. We want to see Bitcoin keep going. We want to see crypto keep climbing. But right now we have the 20-day moving average down here in that $35,000 region. It's this extended upper trend line of the smaller wedge. And then we have these areas down here, these moving average areas, the 200, the 50. This is in the $30,000 range. This yellow line is a $30,000 range. This very mental aspect, I think, in terms of Bitcoin cycles. Last bull market, Bitcoin seeing support there. On the way down in the bear market, it consolidated there. It's seen resistance at that yellow line. A pullback to that area, Bitcoin falling off of this resistance is in play, right? Cooling down on the daily RSI. It is something that we've seen in cycles past. That is to say, we're getting a nice little move from certain moving averages, like in the last cycle, for instance. We moved away from the moving averages and then we fell. And even in the cycle before that, if you can see back here on the chart, we move away from the moving averages and then we fell, right? So something like that happening, and let me actually move this up a little bit because I know you can't see these dates. There we go. I finally fixed it. Something like that happening, moving away from the moving averages and then falling 30,000. It's so normal. So I wanted to bring that up. Now, there's a couple things happening that could actually send Bitcoin higher, maybe towards the targets, right? Towards these targets that we have to the upside. Very bullish things. Number one, on the shorter term, to get maybe this week going bullish is this. November 14th. What are traditional markets doing? How is market sentiment reacting to the CPI data that's coming out on Tuesday morning for October? What does that look like, right? That's a shorter term narrative. But then we have this. And I'll say right now, I don't think this is going to happen. But if this happens, This is the catalyst that would send Bitcoin soaring, probably before altcoins. Bloomberg analysts suggest the SEC could green light Bitcoin ETF starting tomorrow. So this was the other day. A brief window opens on November 9th for SEC to potentially approve all 12 spot Bitcoin ETF applicants. It will open for at least 8 days, right? So it opened on the 9th. Right now is the 12th. We have 5 days left this week. If it happened, I don't think it's going to happen, but if it happened, this could certainly be the catalyst that actually sends Bitcoin soaring. And it would defy any bearish resistance and bearish divergence that we're talking about in this video. But I just think it's so important right now, putting aside potential bullish narratives. Let's watch what happens at this key resistance area now that it's hit, since we talked about the move happening in that last video 10 days ago. We're at this resistance. You can see the clear consolidation at this higher high area while bearish divergence is happening. A cool down on the RSI, not necessarily a bad thing in my opinion. The same story goes for Cardano. I know I mentioned this in a previous, or in the opening here, 75 cents area breakout for Cardano. That is not this short-term thing that I'm saying is going to happen this week, but I just spotted this, especially if we're talking about this potentially being in a resistance area that we're going to talk about on the shorter term charts. This is a falling, broadening channel with a target to the upside of 75 cents. Now, again, this is a weekly chart that this is charted on. I spotted it as I was setting up this video, actually. Notice the separation we're getting from the 50-week, the 20-week, meaning if we do see resistance, and we're going to talk about that, at this upper trend line, this would be a second touch of the trend line, potentially falling back down. This falling channel, though, in play now with the target to the upside. This could really be, this could take a while for ADA to get there. Here's the Bitcoin halving in spring. That's something we're going to track now. And I want to make sure to track this story happening, especially what could happen in the consolidation phase down to the 20-week moving average, 29 cents. What's intriguing, you go back to last cycle, it's pretty much what happened, everybody. This is pretty much what happened. ADA escaped these moving averages, and this is kind of where we are this cycle around at this movement, right? You see this upper trend line, second touch, and ADA fell. Mind you, this was COVID, but ADA fell, consolidated back into the moving averages. I think these moving averages would have seen support, at the very least the 20-week moving average, if it wasn't for COVID. But COVID happened, we fell through. I think this would have been a higher low support for ADA. Needless to say, though, kind of a very similar thing. A falling channel, broadening channel. Or actually, that's not broadening, but it's a falling channel that ADA eventually broke out of with an insanely bullish target. And we're in a similar type of environment. And this is a falling, broadening wedge, broadening channel with a 75-cent target. But we zoom in and we start getting a clear picture of the potential for the resistance, right? So here's what we have going on. And there's that channel right there on the daily chart. But if you look at it, there's a couple of things happening. You notice right now, 38 cents, we have the RSI with a swing low, right? So point being, if I can find my brush, lower high, momentum fading, very similar to Bitcoin, momentum fading, and we had a swing high, a higher high. So we're having bearish divergence on ADA right at this upper trend line that is potentially going to be resistance. Notice it's a third red daily candle that's happening right now. It's a brand new candle, just opened a half hour ago. And besides that, I want to make note of something, because I guess it got erased. We had this other shorter term pattern. It's a falling wedge, right? That we're tracking, and we're still tracking it. But this breakout that we got, and the target to the upside was around 45 cents. Well, right now, we might not hit that target. And that is, in my opinion, okay. We talk about it all the time. That is to say, we don't usually keep going right to the target. It's most normal to actually get this move back down. If not to the trend line itself, which is sub 30 cents, it's 10-cent drop for ADA that's in play right now. I hate to say it. It is what it is. But just like Bitcoin can fall to 30,000, ADA can fall to 28 cents. This is a technical setup, but we do have the 20-day moving average at 33 cents. We have the 200-day at 30 cents, and there is the 50-day confluent with the 28-cent area. But what's consolidation going to look like for ADA? That's probably the biggest thing on my mind right now. Putting aside this massive 75-cent target, even putting aside the 45-cent target that we have up here out of this falling wedge, putting all that aside, what does consolidation look like for ADA And if we look at ADA right now, you can just check it out. It's got some room to the downside, right? One thing I want to point out on the RSI, besides room to the downside on the daily, I really want to point this out if we go back to the weekly. And this is a case for that more longer term, even a midterm, the 75-cent target. I very strongly believe this period of time before halving is going to go quickly. And ADA is going to eventually hit the 75-cent target. We're going to be cruising towards $1 sooner than most people think. And then all of a sudden, we're in a brand new territory for ADA. It's the starting point for ADA's next bull market. And yeah, we have some choppiness ahead, right, in the shorter term. But the setup for that is displayed very nicely on this chart. This is the RSI. So look at the similarities. Again, happening very similar to post-halving last time as Cardano was setting up for the next bull. We had bullish divergence happening, right? So instead of bearish divergence, we have this higher high on the RSI on the weekly, while it's putting in a lower high on the price chart. Well, it's happening again. We just talked about the lower high that's happening in this falling broadening wedge, broadening channel, happening while a higher high is being put into place on this weekly. That's bullish divergence. The momentum shift is happening as it relates to Cardano and Cardano cycles. And I want to point this out. It's happening earlier. Notice how we're still in this red box pre-halving. We were still falling in that red box. We were not breaking the 50-week, the 20-week moving averages. We are now above those moving averages, right? So the move that's happened is breaking above those moving averages. It's happening in that red box. Last cycle, you can see where it happened. It happened after the red box. It took a little bit longer for this move to happen before falling and consolidating. But this move of consolidating it could be where we are right now. And I just want to point that out. There's bullish targets to the upside. There is, but these things, they don't just happen overnight. Look at ADA. 4 weekly candles, green, in a row. Consolidation is okay in my view. There could be things, catalysts, that sends crypto higher this week. It could happen. In which case, we'll talk about the breakout if it happens. Trust me, I will be doing a video if we go higher here. But I think it's good to use caution as it relates to bearish divergence that we're seeing on the RSI and potential resistance. But do you see that macro picture that we just painted? And I should have started with this. I really should have. And I'll probably integrate this into the next Cardano video. But just look at this. In red, you have price. This is the last bear market. The bear market we just survived, January 2022. Price falling. DeFi coming online. Total value locked rising. Look at that. And what makes me so bullish isn't the fact that that happened then. That was DeFi coming online. Total value locked rising. What makes me so bullish is imagine when price is rising while total value locked is also rising. This thing is going to be parabolic. This chain is going to be parabolic, everybody. So that's for another video, obviously, but I wanted to bring that to attention because that's the environment I think we're approaching with ADA. So short term, we'll continue tracking what happens at this resistance area that you can just see ADA is consolidating at right now. Can ADA manage to just break away and continue to upside? I wouldn't be surprised. All coins have been going crazy lately, but I'm mindful. I'm aware of potential consolidation. I wanted to start this week by just doing some general TA, what I'm watching going into this week, and that's simply what this is, everybody. So my view, this is what I'm looking at, and I hope you're all doing well out there. So if you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe, turn the notifications on. Things are getting exciting as we get ready for this next bull market. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.